We all know dad jokes, right? A computer would know jokes, but a dad joke, that's a whole other level of comedy. That's a laugh and a groan at the same time. It's like this. Last night I told my wife she was painting her eyebrows too high. She looked surprised. A bot would say, that is an accurate observation of a physical change. Test 3 robot, just select all the squares that contain a politician telling the truth. And there are no pictures. Speaking of politicians, always reminds me of our president, Donald Trump. Love him or hate him, here's what I always amazed at. Some people treat him really bizarre, like he's a god. And that got me thinking, I'm like, what if people in history were a lot like Trump? Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon. What if he had Trump qualities? Right? He lands on the moon. I landed on the moon. It was a very great thing. The ladder came down. And I said, the ladder was made by Americans, not by China, because China sucks. I put the flag on the moon. It was a great flag. It was a big flag. The fake news said there was no flag. There was a flag. I'm thinking of Shakespeare. He's writing Shakespeare. Shakespeare as Trump would sit there writing it like, to be or not to be, do we really need that? Let's cut that and say, I'm the greatest. There's a Globe Theater, I tell you, I'm gonna make a Globe Theater, it's gonna be round, it's gonna be the biggest thing in the history. It's gonna be spectacular. I wrote that over a taco bowl. The last one I'm thinking of course, is our Almighty, if you have a faith. Picture Jesus, the mount, there's a lot of people there. He's trying to feed them. I'm trying to feed all the people. The disciples come up to me and say, Jesus, we need more food for the people. And I said, well, I got a loaf of bread and I got a fish. But not just a fish, I made it a great fish. It was an Alaskan halibut, it was a great fish. The fake news looked at me and said there were 3,000 people, there were 5,000, maybe 10. And I started to feed them, and the fish came out, and everybody was fed, and they said, Jesus, you're doing a great job. I said, I know. It sure beats the wedding I was at where they ran out of wine. By the way, at that wedding, I brought the greatest gift. If you walked in and saw the table, you saw the big gift from Jesus. It was the greatest gift ever. It was big, it was proud. And then he came up to me and said, Sir, Jesus, we don't have any wine. I said, what do you mean you don't have any wine? What are you gonna do? They said, I know, what are you gonna do? And I said, oh, give me some water. The fake news said it was soda, but it wasn't, it was water. I put the water in there and I went like this and I said, abracadabra, hooky dookie bookie. And then it was wine. It was the greatest wine. And after that, for some reason, the Pharisees had it in for me. They said, we're gonna crucify you. I said, yeah, because you're jealous. You suck, you all suck. And they took me to the cross and I saw this lowercase t and I said, no. I want an uppercase T. Because I want the people from Bethlehem to see this and see it. There he is, the man, and they can see me on a capital T. That's so bad. Thank you, everybody.
John, everybody, give it up for John.